Hi, it's Sandy with s.ranellearts, and today I am going to be painting the first in a series. This is for the World Watercolor Group prompt for the month of February. The theme is nature, and for February 1st, day 1, the prompt is bee. So I Googled bee on a flower and I came up with this reference photo, and it's pretty good size so I can get some detail in there. I'm going to try to keep it nice and quick and loose, and I am painting on bee paper. I thought that was appropriate. It is the Bee Paper Company's watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton, has a smooth surface, but it's cold pressed, and it is 140 pounds. I am using my Prima Marketing Classics palette for this, and I'll have it in the description below. I'll have all the materials listed. I took out some brushes, but I reserve the right to change and draw from some other ones as I go, and I'll list the ones I use. So starting off, I think I just want to get the flower in there because I feel like being loose. So I am going to spritz my palette. I'm using my fine mist water sprayer. I love this. All right. And I want to begin with, let's begin with the center of the flower. So I am taking the canary, which is the yellow, and that looks awfully dark, but that's okay. It's fairly dark color. I think I'm going to switch my waters and try to keep my clean one on the right, and maybe get a little bit lighter to start. Yeah, that looks a little muddy. That's typical of me for my palettes, to not clean them. I did a review of this Prima palette, so I have a video on my channel of that. I like these Prima palettes. They're small, and they are, if I just want to do something quickly, I don't want to overthink it. This one, especially the Classics, has enough. It has everything I need. All right, I'm putting down the canary, which is pretty bright yellow, and I'm using wet on dry. I did this little sketch. You can see I did a little sketch. I'm going to take a little of that muddier color that I had, because there is some of that, and right along the base, I think I'll let that bleed into that. And then I'm also going to get a little bit of this, the orange is called Carrot, and I'm just going to put a little bit here and there on that. It's pretty bright, and it looks a little bit brighter than what they have in the picture, but it's okay. It'll dry nicely, and on top of the canary, I think it'll be nice. So I'll just get a little bit in there, add a little bit of dimension. This is going to be quick enough that hopefully I will not have to speed this up, especially since I'm not super good at the technology part of YouTube and filming just yet. I'm getting there, but I'm learning how to do my own videos so I don't have to wait on anybody else. All right, I'm going to take the pink, which is called Candy, and go very lightly in it. Now you can see I did not really clean my palette. I spritzed it, but I didn't clean it. So I think I might come over here and actually do a quick cleaning, especially of my lighter colors. Like, what's up with that? That is typical of me. And there, and there. All right, so I'm getting the candy, and I want it nice and loose, and I'm going to keep that as just a little bit of a base for this. Now they're purple flowers, but I didn't want to use the purple, honestly I kind of forget what they call it. Everything has a name. I don't have the names written down. I think I'll do that. I've been just going by the colors. I'm pretty good with color most of the time. I certainly make mistakes, but I'm pretty good knowing, what colors work and what colors don't. It's sort of a natural thing for me. Plus, I've been, doing some kind of artwork since I could walk, practically in my family. That was how we were raised. My father was an artist, and he was a commercial artist, and we always received art supplies for birthdays and Christmas, and I can still picture that gigantic set of markers that I got that had I believe it was a Renoir painting on it, and my sisters all got one, and we were encouraged to make our own decorations to hang on the windows for Halloween, and for Christmas we put together things. And I would say everybody's artistic in my family, all the siblings. My brother, there are 4 girls and 1 boy. My brother is the one who we don't know about because he says he just doesn't have the patience to sit down. All right, what I did is I took some of the purple, whose name escapes me now. I don't have my little palette in front of me, and I am blending that into the pink, because even though it's a purple cone flower, or some kind of purple flower, it actually looks like an aster. It doesn't look like a cone flower at all. I don't have a problem with it being a little bit on the pink side. So I'm going loose here, adding a little bit of purple, and I'll pull that down, but I want to keep some of the pink showing. And then I'm actually going to come and get a little bit more purple here, and I'm trying to do this quickly, so I'm going to do a little bit more at the base of the flower, just adding more color, get a little of that dimension in there. Boom. I like to make noise when I'm doing this. What I really want is music on in the background, but I have yet to figure out what I can play to listen to and also have on my video, which is probably nothing. So, all right, I'm going to take a tiny bit of this purple and let a little bit of it bleed up into the base. It goes a little brown, but that's all right. That's kind of what's happening in the photo anyway. And then I'm just going to touch a little bit here and there. This is all staying loose. I want to stay loose. I don't want to get too much work in here. I have plenty of paintings that I spend hours and hours on, and this is not going to be one of them. All right, wash that off. I'm actually really happy with that flower. I don't even really think I want anything else. I might come in when that dries and add a little bit more color in. We'll see. I might as well do the leaf while I'm at it. So for the leaf, I think I will take Canary as a base. When I use this set, I really like to do this. I like to start my foliage with a base of the yellow, the canary. And then I actually like to add the green to the yellow. And then occasionally I will put in either the turquoise or the blue, depending on how bright I want this. I don't really want this too bright. So we'll let some of that green in there, kind of just bleed into that. I'm going loose. I'm leaving a little bit of white. I'm not worried about the pencil lines. I need a little bit. Let's see what happens when I add the blue. Let's see if that's the color I want. It's okay. It sort of goes with the photo, so I'll just touch that extra dark in there. There's a shadow right there from the flower, and there's a little bit over here, and you can't see the stem. I am using artistic license and putting the stem in there, and we'll put a touch of it right there. All right, I'm going to rinse that out, and I'm going to begin work on my bee. He's not really yellow. He's sort of a tan with an orange. I don't remember if that's the thorax or the abdomen. I meant to look all this up, but who cares? How much do you care? All right. I think I'll start with the base of the canary, but it's going to be very light. I don't want it as dark as I do not want that as dark. Why is that green? Let's clean that out. So I'm using my Grumbacher 8 round, and this is definitely one of the brushes I use a lot for the detail work and all that. I just wanted to touch lighter. All right. So I'm coming in and I'm going to lay this in here. I think that's the thorax. And this is the abdomen. I don't know. I used to know this stuff. Remember how much stuff you used to know before you put more information in and forgot everything else? All right, his wing is kind of a brown color, so I will leave that. So I got my little base there, and then this little mohawk thing he has going on here, all these little hairs. This, I can't even imagine how somebody got this picture. It's so great. And then he's got all this little yellow hair. That's just, I'm just try to kind of fake it here. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give his wing a base color. These legs will be black, so I don't really need to worry too much about those. It wouldn't kill me to put the base in, but I'm not going to. All right, now I'm going to take some of the carrot and spritz my palette. Sometimes that happens, especially when you go back and try to clean your palette after you've spritzed it. All right, I'm going to take a little of this and mix it with some of the canary. And this seems odd, but I'm going to actually go over to the part of the canary that's got some of the other colors on it and actually muddy it up, because that color is a little more what I'm seeing there. Yeah, that's nice. That's what I'm seeing on the bee. So we'll he's really very tan. Okay, come back. There we go. And here, I really love the way that just that wet into wet just runs like that. And that's one of my favorite parts of watercolor, when it works and doesn't give you the blooms and stuff. It takes a while to get the hang of that. I think I'm going to go ahead and make these hairs too, and just give him the hair where he needs it. Yeah, it's all over this abdomen area. For all I know, that's the thorax and this is the abdomen. I'm missing school right now. All right, I need some tan. And so to get tan, ooh, I do not want to go into brown. I think what I'll do now, I think I'm going to take a tiny bit of blue, and I actually am going to go into the brown, the cocoa, and get that. And that'll give me actually a nice tan. I like to make my own, but in this case, why stress about it? All right, it's a little darker than I was hoping, so I think I'll pull a little bit more of the canary in there. And then I wonder why, actually, that I do not want to be. Let me get that off. I wonder why my palette is dirty. I'm going with brown and hit the yellow. Oh well, that's life. Okay, I don't really like that, so I'm going to just, this paper lifts pretty well, considering I got it at the craft store and I used my 40% off coupon and et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'm not getting the color I want for that. I think part of my issue is the yellow. I think the yellow is just not working. I should have tried something else. So let me just try to make myself a brown here. And I'm going to pull off some of this yellow. In fact, I'm going to try to lift it. We'll see if I can get anything. So my water's kind of yellow. I should probably clean it, but I don't want to stop the video. I want to get this done quickly for your sakes. So got a little bit of that brown, and I am overthinking it. So I think instead of worrying about it, I'm just going to add some colors here and call it good. All right, brown for the wing. This wing I made a little smaller than I would like, so I'm going to extend that out. Now, that brown is actually bleeding really well into this wet and making it look like the hair, and that was a happy accident, as they say. So I think I'm going to exploit that, and I'm coming around and I'm just taking the tip of my brush and putting in some more brown, and that actually works really well, and I hadn't thought of that. And now I kind of want to wet his little keep calling it his mohawk. I don't know how wet it is, so I'm going to wet it down and try a little bit more of this, letting that brown bleed, because it really sort of goes with what I'm seeing on this bee. All right. This is a little bit redder. I'll take this brown, it's a little, feed just a little bit more. Actually, that works pretty well. Okay, so got the wing working. I don't want to go into that yet. The base of the wing, I can come back for that. I just, I'll do a little bit, but I think that's going to bleed. All right, I need to make a black for the black portions of the bee, and it's still pretty wet. So I'll work on the black parts of the bee while I wait for that to dry. So I'm taking my blue, which I think is called Sailor, and I'm taking a little of my brown, which I thought was called Cocoa, and I'm mixing those two together, and I'll get a nice black on that. All right, and then I'm doing the legs and the eyes. So here's my little leg. Now the nice thing about this number 8 brush is, even though it's an 8, it has such a nice point on it that I'm able to get some detail. I have some smaller brushes, but sometimes this is just fine. I'm going to be careful not to touch any wet surfaces with this. I'm just coming in and putting some black in. I don't want to overthink this. This little guy kind of hides out behind that one. And there's that. He's got a little bit of a leg here, and I don't really know where I put it. So, or maybe I just never finished drawing it. So we'll give him that. And then that's going down into the flower. And I'm now doing the eye. I actually boxed out the highlights here. That tends to help me keep the highlights. If I don't do that, I'm always forgetting. So this way, if I draw a box where I want the highlights to be, it seems to work for me. So I have this photograph that my husband took years ago in our garden of, I'm sorry. Well, no. Okay, we have 2 photographs. One of them he took of a bee on a little grape hyacinth. And if you know what a grape hyacinth is, it's a tiny, tiny little, actually need a little brown for that. So let me put a little black in here while I have black on my brush. And, oh, that's a big leg going into that flower. All right, we'll get that in there. You got a nice, good, solid leg there, little guy. Anyway, so he took a picture of this bee on a little grape hyacinth, which the flower is hardly bigger than a bee, but he got this close-up shot. He's a very good photographer, in my opinion. He got this close-up shot, and he actually entered it in a contest. That and his picture of Sedona, and the picture of Sedona, like, won 2nd place or something. I don't know. But and then I actually used to grow artichokes. I love artichokes. They're very expensive, and so growing them is kind of a nice thing. But I would see bumblebees. This was cool. Bumblebees, they sleep. Sleeping bumblebees is a very, if you've ever seen one, it's just the sweetest thing. I was out in the morning. I don't think I was watering. I was probably walking around with my cup of coffee, looking at my garden, and there was a bumblebee sleeping on the thistle flower, the purple flower. I had let the artichokes go to seed or become thistles, and there's beautiful big purple flowers, and this bee was just hanging there sleeping, and I stood there. I took a picture of it, and he did not move a bit. It was the sweetest thing. And interestingly enough, I'm not afraid of bees at all. I don't like wasps. I don't want to be around wasps, but I'm not afraid of bees. And I never, in all the years I gardened in my other house, and then the house before that, have never been stung, never been bothered. I just leave them alone. And I would grow things like, where's this one? This guy, I can't tell where he is. So I think I will make him, I'm overthinking it. Let's just make him here. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Something about being stung, never been stung, always out there working with, I would grow mint and mint flowers like crazy. The flowers just have so many surfaces and the bees take over. But they never bothered me. I never had any problem with them, and I was just minding my own business. All right, I'm using, this is the number 8 round, and I'm using the tip of it, which still has the black on it, just to add a little bit of fuzz right here, a little bit of black fuzz to hopefully make it look like yellow fuzz, and just a little bit. I want to make sure it's not too wet. I don't want to do too much. I'm not necessarily going for realism here. I just want to get the point across. But I do want it to look a little like his hair. It's his little rock and roll mohawk. And anyway, we need more bees. And I was always very respectful of the bees in my garden. And I believe that if I had a garden again, I live in a condo now and don't have a garden. If I had a garden again, I would like to try to raise bees. I'm a little nervous about it, even though I've never been stung. I think the chances would increase. I don't think I'm allergic or anything, though. Yeah, and again, having a condo, you don't really get to do too much with flowers and wildlife. I have a little balcony, but really not too much. All right, I want a tiny bit of the brown. I think for the brown, I forget what I did, so I'm just going to grab some brown, and I want to go underneath his eye with brown instead of, it's not too bad, instead of black. Give him a nice solid, a little bit black and brown go together. I'm going to add a little bit of brown to some other parts of it. Maybe fix this wing up. This wing's looking ragged. So I'll give it another layer now that it's dry. And just kind of assessing my picture. I'm stepping back, so to speak, and looking at what else needs to be done to give it just a little something, a little bit of oomph. So I'm going to put a little bit of brown in the hair. Even though I did the black, I think the brown will add a little bit more dimension right there. I'm going to come back and get a little bit of orange. Okay, so let's get a little of this carrot over here. And I'm going to put a tiny bit of that. That's a little too much. Maybe a touch of brown into the carrot. There. Let's do that. Okay, that's a little bit. This might be a little too wet, so I'm going to take out a little bit so I don't overdo and get these. When you put too much water in, you end up with the blooms, and sometimes it's good and sometimes you don't want that. So this is one of those cases where I did not want that. All right, a little bit there, and then a little bit of this orange and brown mixture on this piece right here. Kicking myself for not researching whether that's the thorax or the abdomen. So if anybody watches this and wants to leave me a comment, I'm new to YouTube and I don't have that many videos up. I'm learning how to do it all. But one of the things I'm not doing is reading comments if anybody leaves them, because I am spending so much time getting the videos up that I would have to say getting around to the comment section. So if you leave me comments and I don't respond to you, it's just one of those things I'll eventually get better at. But all right, the last thing I'm doing here is adding just a little bit more color into the hair here and underneath here, a little on the top. There you go, crazy guy. And I think maybe some hair here. I forgot to add the brown and the yellow, but that's okay. All right, he's looking about as good as I want him to. I need a little tiny something. I feel like I want a little something here that just the yellow is not working. So I don't know what. So let's do a little, well, even that is just a little bit of the canary with a tiny bit of the brown off of my palette, and that seems to make a difference. All right, now a couple things I need to do. No, I actually don't need to do anything there. I'm going to do this. This part is dry. I'm just going to come over here and erase some of my pencil lines. I won't get them all, and that's fine. I didn't plan on it. I can always draw them lighter if I don't want anything. I don't mind seeing the pencil lines, especially on something loose like that, but I'm going to take away whatever I'm not using. All right, that is actually looking pretty good. The last thing I want to do is maybe put a little bit more color into the flower, just a little bit more. I mean, I think I like the way it looks, but so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to clean my brush just with some clean water, clean-ish water, I should say. I'm never, unless I want to get up and clean it right now, it's not all that clean. So I am going in and I'm just putting a few places with clear water, and then I'm going to come back, pick up the purple off my palette, and maybe a tiny bit more to darken it, just to add just that little extra touch of dimension right there. And just come, and I'm going to find where it's wet, so I'm moving it a little bit. I just want to add a little something to spruce up this flower. So I have to hold it up because I can't see where I put the water, but I don't want to worry too much. So I'm going to come down around here, and it's almost a dry brush. I'm using the side of the brush and the point, and I'm coming here just to give this just a little extra something. Not too wet, not too much, not everywhere. And one of the things that bothered me before was that I knew I was going to do that. I didn't like that at all. I wanted the petals to come down over this leaf, and they did not. But I can live with that. All right. I'm going to put a little purple. No, I don't think I'm going to do anything else. I think I'm going to leave that alone. And then the last thing is, this is fairly dry, is just come back and erase a couple of those lines right there so that little Mr. B can shine. And it that part doesn't matter because it kind of looks like I outlined him. And that is that. I should sign it, but I don't really feel like going to look for, I have a Sharpie right here. Let me grab this Sharpie. Let me sign that. Sandy Lynn Ranelle Ramberg. And today is 2/1/18. And that is my B. I'm going to post it on Instagram and get this video uploaded. Thank you for watching. Hit thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.